Hello and welcome to another educational video about screen printing by Catspit Productions. Thanks for clicking on my video today. I really appreciate your time and attention very much. And please remember, if you like my videos, you like the tips, the advice, and maybe some of the entertainment, please subscribe to my YouTube channel right now because it makes kittens happy. Okay, so today we're going to take a quick look at some tips for making your screen prints with Plastisol ink softer on the shirt, right? Everybody likes a soft hand type feel. So meaning the ink feels just like the t-shirt. You can't feel the ink printed on the t-shirt. And as you know, with Plastisol inks, that can be very difficult to do, especially with black or dark garments. So today I'm going to give you some quick, short tips on what you can do to try to reduce that, high volume of Plastisol ink that's going to really make the print rubbery and thick. But please remember that this is a brief overview and I omit a lot of things, and of course there are many different ways to achieve the same result. But today we're going to talk about a few easy things that you might be able to do to control the softness of your Plastisol screen print. First off, let's remember that anytime you print Plastisol inks on white t-shirts, you absolutely have the ability to make the print very soft. Why? Because with a white t-shirt, you do not need to print as much ink as you do on a black t-shirt or a dark garment. Okay, so whenever you're printing Plastisol inks on a white garment, you should try to print a much lower volume of ink. And you can do that by either using a harder squeegee and or a higher mesh count, okay? And because it's white, you really don't need a whole lot of ink. So just print a lower volume of ink on your light colored garments or your white garments, and the print will naturally be soft, even with a spot color, okay? But as we move on and talk about dark garments, you will notice, for instance, in this shirt has a halftone. We showed you this before. So this actually combines some full-on spot colors with dot, with halftones. And anytime you add dot and halftones, that can help out too. Please remember that I sell screen printing equipment and supplies at catspitscreenprintsupply.com. So if you need any screen printing equipment or supplies, please check out my website at catspitscreenprintsupply.com, where you will find all of my offerings. And don't forget, I offer free shipping on all major RANR equipment purchases anywhere in the continental United States, plus free shipping, plus no credit card fees, and a lifetime guarantee on all RANR screen printing presses. So check out catspitscreenprintsupply.com today. When you're printing Plastisol inks on t-shirts, one of the easiest ways to be able to control the amount of ink that's being printed on the shirt is to have total control over the artwork creation itself. Now, a lot of the times you don't have that because you're printing commercially for businesses or for other people who give you artwork. But there may be opportunities to kind of convert that artwork in such a way that it's going to print a lesser volume of ink. But when you have total control over the creation of the artwork, there are a few things that you can do. Okay, as we mentioned, with a white shirt, you really don't have to do anything except print a lower volume of ink. But you could print halftones. Anytime you break up a design with dot and allow some of the shirt to come through the dot, that print is going to feel much softer than if you print a full-on spot color. Okay, so the first thing that you want to consider is the artwork itself. Okay, and obviously, again, with the white shirts, here's a shirt I might have shown you on Instagram or something. This is a shirt I printed a very long time ago in the 90s on an automatic press. And this is a full CMYK print. With CMYK 4-color process on a white shirt, there is no hand at all. And this is Plastisol ink. Okay, so Plastisol ink, CMYK on a white shirt can feel like nothing. It can feel like the shirt itself. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Okay, but when you're printing on dark garments, it's a much different scenario because a dark garment requires a lot more ink in order to retain the opacity and the color intensity of the Plastisol inks, right? And sometimes we use a white underbase and then print colors on top of that. And that makes it really thick and rubbery, okay? So, and as well, contrastingly, you know, if you don't print a white underbase and use high opacity inks, you're still printing a higher volume of ink for that high opacity ink, like high opacity white or high opacity yellow, whatever it might be, you're still printing a higher volume of ink, so it tends to be very thick. So in order to make the print, the Plastisol print, feel softer rather, on dark garments, you are going to want to break up the design as much as possible and allow as much of the t-shirt to come through the design as you can. And whenever possible, use a halftone. Halftones are great for making Plastisol prints feel softer on dark garments. Okay, so here is the famous Ben Franklin shirt, which we did a long time ago. We did a video series about this, and this is a shirt where we have white high opacity ink printed on a dark black, black shirt, and this is Plastisol ink. Okay, but this print is not that bad. It's never been washed, so we feel a little bit of stiffness here. But when we wash this and wear it, this print here, you're not going to really feel. It's not going to feel like a sweat patch, and it may not feel soft-hand like a CMYK print on a white shirt, but it's not going to be as thick as if we printed this in a posterization or a posterization, right? Where it would be full ink, okay? So halftones and breaking up the artwork and allowing the shirt to come through the artwork, okay? The shirt I'm wearing is a very good example of that, and this is the back print, okay? So here is the Catspit Southwestern design. We did a video series on this, as you know, and this design was a distressed design, and there's also a lot of line art. The line art allows for a lot of the shirt to come through the design, and so does the distressed pattern, right? It allows for the shirt to come through the design and kind of break up that rubbery, solid Plastisol feel. Now, here's the other thing. We could have printed this with white ink, which most people probably would have, but I wanted to print a lot lower volume of ink and make it feel really soft, which once I wash the shirt, because I have a bunch of them, I wash them and wear them all the time, it's very soft, you can barely feel it, okay? But you'll notice that I used gray ink, and the reason why is because with gray ink, I can print a much lower volume of ink on this kind of ash, dark charcoal shirt. So again, having full control of the design of the artwork and the ink that's used is going to help you in designing the print to be softer, okay? So distressed prints where you have a distressed pattern or a lot of line art where the shirt, again, is coming through and breaking up that big, patchy rubber Plastisol print, okay? Again, Another example of that is this shirt. You know this one. We did a video series about this. This is Amal Muhammad's artwork from Indonesia. He did this skull design for us that we printed, and this is a high opacity white ink. It was printed through a 160 mesh to reduce the volume of ink, and again, the way the design is done, there are very small areas that actually contain full-on open white ink. Most of the design is broken up with the dots that allow the black to come through. So again, this is another shirt that even though, it's Plastisol, when you wash it and wear it a few times, it's gonna get really soft and it's gonna feel very comfortable, okay? So one of the biggest things you can do is control the artwork, okay? And here's a little tag print. You remember the tag print that we did on this? That also, remember, I made it really thin lines and I filled the fill of Catspit with halftone because I wanted it to feel like nothing, right? So again, designing the artwork with halftones, a lot of line art, a lot of shirt coming through, distress patterns, and printing a lower volume of ink whenever possible will help you print a softer Plastisol screen print. Okay, one last thing that I will advise with a cautionary statement. Okay, some people will use Curable Reducer to kind of thin out Plastisol inks a little bit and give them a softer feel. And while Curable Reducer may achieve that to some extent, it's not really the proper usage. Curable Reducer is mostly intended to reduce tack or pickup when you're printing multicolors wet. And it has some other properties to it that come in handy for screen printing in different applications, but most of the time it's used to reduce the pickup on subsequent screens when you're printing a multicolor wet on press, wet on wet. And it sometimes is also used just to thin the ink out a little bit so that it can pass through a higher mesh count. But, like I've told you in the past, Curable Reducer is not ink. And if you add too much, you will change the characteristics of the ink and it will no longer perform as it was intended to. Okay? On the other hand, the product that is designed to soften up Plastisol inks is called Soft Hand Base. Okay? Soft Hand Base is exactly that. It's a base product that's very soft and it's designed to soften up the ink. Okay? So Soft Hand Base can be used sometimes to give a softer feel to the Plastisol screen printed ink on the shirt. Okay? But again, you're going to need to read the instructions very carefully or consult your screen printing supplier, such as myself, on the specific usage of that Soft Hand Base and how it should be used for what you're trying to achieve. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for taking the time to watch my video. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you enjoy my screen printing videos here on YouTube. And if you need screen printing equipment or supplies, check out catspitscreenprintsupply.com. Thanks a lot for watching today, and we'll see you next time.